Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Meet the People. Today we have two guests on the show. The first is Smyth Welton from the Department of Innovation and Performance, and the second is Burk from the Office of Municipal Investigation. And when we return, we'll have Smyth Welton talk about the city website and how things have changed in his time with the city of Pittsburgh. And today's guest, I don't know if I work with anyone more closely than I do with my guest today. Smyth Welton, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for being here. Now, I know your real name is Smith. Do you go by Smith or Smitty? Do you care? Does anyone call you Smith?
Smitty's fine. All workaholics call me Smitty. If you call me Smith, I may not answer you because I'm not used to it.
Is that when you've done something wrong kind of name?
Yes, primarily from my mother. So.
That's awesome. So Smitty, you and I have worked together, I think almost 7 years now.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that working for the city was not your first ever job. Can you give us a little bit of background, where you're from, and how you ended up working here for the city of Pittsburgh?
Sure. So I lived in Pittsburgh area most of my life. My family moved from northwestern Pennsylvania when I was a baby. And before I worked for the city, I was an emergency medical technician for 15 years. And I worked in the great borough of Munhall, Homestead, and West Homestead. So I did that for 15 years. And on the side, I did a lot of computer work, such as website design, freelancing, and computer installation. So I've always had my hands in computer stuff.
So how does a full-time EMT become the full-time city website manager?
Well, my love for computers and digital arts superseded that. And plus 15 years in the emergency medical services, I was pretty much at my end with that and wanted to move on to something I really, really enjoyed doing. Not that I didn't enjoy saving people's lives, but it got a little bit stressful, and I didn't want to reach that point. So I decided to move on, and I retired from EMS and took on freelance work. And I did that for a couple years. And then I just randomly saw the position open for a web master for the city of Pittsburgh. And I applied for it, and that rest is history. So
when you got to the city, you weren't automatically the manager of the website. You came on as a webmaster.
Yeah.
Talk about the first time you saw the city website, what it was like, and what your initial thoughts were of it at that time.
Well, when I first saw the city website, and ironically, I didn't really ever go to it before I had this job. So part of my interview was actually to describe my thoughts about the current website. And that's really where it really dawned on me how outdated it was and how bloated with content it had. And, I just threw out that spiel because it was the truth, and I was there. I wanted to be hired to create something new for the city, to improve it. And that's what they wanted to hear, because that was the whole point, and now here I am.
I don't know if you know this, but I tend to use you as an analogy when I explain to people what the city channel was like when I first started versus what it is now.
Yeah.
And the analogy I use is that the city channel was like if the city website had to be updated by a typewriter. Would that be a fair analogy for what the city website was when you started versus what it is now?
Yeah, I think that's very fair. The website back then was pushing 8 to 10 years in age, along with the system that powered the content. So yeah, that's very fair analogy of that.
What people may not remember or know is that for a very, 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 very short period of time, I managed the city website. And I remember talking to you about it, and you said to me back then that there were something like 15,000 separate individual pages on the city website. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
You're very close. We had 8 to 15,000 active pages, but we had altogether 30,000 pages that was archived within the system. Yeah.
That is amazing. How do you, or how did you oversee 30,000 pages on a website?
Well, that was one of the problems, is you couldn't really oversee that many pages. It was hard to tell, what was active, what was not, because we had a lot of hands in the cookie jar, to say. And so with that, there were a lot of pages being created that, we weren't aware of, which made it more difficult to keep track. And so, it was just a unbelievable amount of content.
So, like I said, very short period of time I managed the website. And when I was when I was given the opportunity to focus solely on the city channel, there was an opening. There was a chance for someone else to lead the city website. So when you first were promoted, what were, I don't know, I don't need a list of 100 priorities, but what were some of the main priorities for you once you started managing the website?
Well, one of the main priorities was a total redesign, because what was there was old, outdated, not modern whatsoever, and couldn't be retrofitted with anything. So priority was redesign of the public-facing website, and then a full redesign or redo of the content management system that powers it.
Now, I know you don't have to correct me on this because I remember it well. You came up with and made your own content management system.
Yes. My coworker, Eric Miazga, and myself decided that at that time, the best thing to do would be to create our own content management system to power the website that we built. So both systems from the ground up made sense, and was basically, free for the city, because you had two individuals who could do it.
How much, and I don't want you, well, I know you're not the kind of person who pats yourself on the back and look at me, but how much money would that have cost?
Well, when you look at the current enterprise level content management systems out there, and the baseline price for them are anywhere between $150,000 to $350,000. So I would say that's a fair comparison.
I remember putting out an RFP for a request for purchase, for a company to make a content management system. And I believe one of the quotes we got back was over $750,000, and we could only have 100 website pages. Do you remember that?
Yes. And I wasn't real surprised about that, being that, we had 8 to 15,000 active pages, and that wouldn't have included the extras like the filtering of content and, and having to evaluate with all the departments of what they're keeping and not. So we could have been probably over $1 million at that point, which was pretty absurd. So.
And you did it for zero.
Yeah. Yep.
I love hearing stories where we can tout zero tax dollars spent. I just think that's a great way to showcase not only the projects that we're doing, but the talent of the people that are working here. So I assume there was a huge party thrown in your honor because of all that.
Well, not a huge party. Many people were happy, I think, though. And especially within our group, it was a goal that,
right.
Our team succeeded with. There was a lot of obstacles on this journey. There was times that we didn't even think we would be able to complete it, but we did, and it took probably about 2 years of doing it, because of course you can't devote all your time to building it. You got to take care of what's there now,
right,
and deal with other requests. So over a 2-year time period, 2 people were able to successfully build a brand new website and a content management system that runs it.
I remember, well, first of all, congratulations. That is,
Thanks.
I know it's been up for a couple of years now, but there aren't enough times that people can say congratulations. It was an amazing amount of work. I saw some of it on the back end. Your staff is so dedicated to not only getting a new product, but the right product. And I think you and your staff have succeeded in that sense, because the new website is above and beyond everything that the previous version of the website was.
That was definitely the goal, and I believe we had reached that.
So when the time comes to build a newer new version of the website, you're going to build another CMS at the same time?
We probably won't.
Lesson learned.
Well, times are different.
Yeah.
And when you have a budget to move forward with something that's more enterprise level, it doesn't really hurt to do that. But you don't know what the future holds.
So the new website gets unveiled. The city of Pittsburgh, the government of the city of Pittsburgh unveils this new website. It's new, it's exciting, it's colorful. It's easier for you and your staff to work on any of the changes or updates that need to be done. What was the biggest surprise? What is something that you learned in the first, let's say, 6 months, that made your life easier, better, worse? What are some of the changes that you weren't really expecting that took place after you unveiled the new website?
Well, one thing we were looking for is just the processes of updating pages, giving users access, to control their own content. One of the goals was to have more liaisons from departments updating their own content. And we built the content management system, which we call Red Till, to do that. And I believe we're pretty successful with that. We ended up having more users, active users, updating their content. And it's also a more user-friendly system, which makes it easier for us to train people and for people to learn how to do it. So that was a major goal. Also, along with being able to track how many pages and such are being built out there.
And you may not, well, I'll just ask, how many website update requests were you getting before the upgrade, and how many website update requests are you getting now?
Well, that's actually hard to answer, because we're busy all the time. But if I have to really try to give a guesstimation, we were getting hundreds of ticket requests within a week back then. And then with Red Till, I mean, was dramatically reduced to something manageable.
Yeah.
So the goal isn't to the goal is to give more ownership to departments of their content. We're not trying to just shove it away. Of course, my team is dedicated to consultation and doing the requests ourselves. But we just like to have that option out there to allow departments, to handle their own content if they want to.
So I'm one of those people who handles their own content.
Yeah.
I can imagine that when you're getting hundreds of requests a week for minor, small things, that it just bogs down the system. So for someone like me who logs into Redtail and makes updates to my pages, how much of a relief is that? And I'm sure I'm not the only one who, as you said, you are training others in other departments to do that work. So how much of a relief is that for you and your team?
Pretty significant, because that gives us time to work on other projects. Because the main website isn't our only gig that we take care of. We do many other things. We make a lot of standalone websites and have a lot of other back-end development work that we do on the side. So it is very helpful for everybody.
Whoa, hold on a second. Are you saying that you do other things than what is in your job description?
I assume so. I haven't looked at my job description for probably 7 years. But
you don't want to know what my job description says. I actually looked at it about a year ago, and it's kind of interesting to see what my job description says, and what I should be doing and what I am doing.
Now you have me interested, but maybe I
we'll talk offline.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. So you're managing the website. You've updated the content management system. You have done all these fabulous things, and then COVID hits. So how does the life of the website team change when we are all told to go home?
Well, the thing about web design and development is it's very much a remote type of setup by nature. Because I was before here, like I said, I was a freelancer, so I know what it's like to work from home. At least a couple of years experience of that. So my team adapted very well. Of course, we had to lean on other teams for a setup, which it went really well. And I think the one key thing that is a little difficult to get used to is not meeting with customers in person. There's that little element missing that video just doesn't capture that. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed of how we have been able to work over the past year.
When the thumbs up is given, will you be able to transition back into the City County building in the same way you transitioned out of it?
Well, I came in today for this interview, and I went to my office desk, and it felt a little awkward. It's a totally different setup than at home. Yep. I only have 2 monitors at home. Here I have 3. I didn't know what to do with the third one. I didn't have a mic and a cam. I totally forgot, that I needed that for other meetings this morning.
So was today your first time in the building in a year?
No, it wasn't. This is actually the 4th time, but this is the most I was able to just sit at my desk.
Okay.
The other times I was kind of like here running around doing other things, but just taking the time to like log on and see the setup on my computer. I mean, it's a lot. It's very different. So I think anyone coming back, they're probably going to have to set up some kind of game plan to transition. Even computer wise, it can be a little bit strange. So
I mentioned this to somebody a while ago, and I'll repeat it here. Is my wife and I went to her office, and obviously she hadn't been there in quite some time, and it felt like a ghost town. All the calendars were on March. There was just that little bit of dust on the desktops. Mm-hmm. It really felt like one of those zombie apocalypse movies where everybody just stood up one day and didn't come back, and because that's exactly what happened.
Right.
So you're saying you were in the office 4 times in a year. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing you talk about how strange it is to sit at your desk again. That's strange for me because I've been coming to the city county building. I was only home for about 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. What is, besides the strangeness of 3 screens and sitting at your desk again, was it weird to walk the halls, get on the elevator, see the security guys?
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, coming in, the security, they don't recognize me because I have my mask on. I, of course, recognize them. But, that's kind of strange. So you walk through there, and then, and there's not many people in the lobby like it normally. And then you go up in the elevator, and I'm in the elevator. I'm like, well, I'm probably going to go straight to the 6th floor. Probably not even going to have to stop anywhere. And then walking through the Department of IMP, very odd, low lighting, just a couple people in their seats. And
I remember pre-COVID, so we're on the 9th floor of the city county building right now. But if I left the building on any quarter hour for any reason, or I needed to leave the building on any quarter hour, I would hit almost every floor on the way down, and a 30-second trip would take 10.
Yeah. Because
of stopping at every floor. I've been really spoiled because I think I've ridden with someone in the elevator twice in the last year.
Wow.
Like the elevator has stopped on it's usually 6 or 4, so IMP or HR. So I've been really spoiled traveling up and down the elevator. I was taking the stairs for a while, and I realized I'm not in shape for that. So I figured I'd leave the stairs for fire drills, which haven't happened either in the last year. All right, so in a perfect world, there are not any budgetary constraints. No one is telling you that you cannot do it because we don't have the money. What are the utopian wants and needs for the City of Pittsburgh website?
So I think after 4 years now, we are ready to move on to a new system. And of course, I don't want to move on to any random system.
Right.
I think that the city is ready for a large, more enterprise level system to run the content. And we could do a lot with that. So with the combination of my team's skill set and using an enterprise level software, I believe that we could probably double what we got now as far as like features and user access and all that fun stuff. So that's what I would like to move into.
You don't want a desk with 5 screens? 10 screens?
Wait, for me personally?
Sure, whatever.
Sure, I'll take another monitor. No problem.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you 4 completely random questions that have nothing to do with your job. And more like a get to know Smitty Welton portion of the program, okay?
Okay.
All right, first. Do you have any hidden talents that your coworkers don't know about?
Oh, boy.
Other than you can save my life.
Well, it's been a lot of years, so I'm not totally sure about that anymore, but I would try my best. So aside from medical and computer stuff, yes, I actually am really good at modifying vehicles, especially off-road trucks. So I do that a lot with my own.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the last one you did?
What would be my current truck? It's an FJ Cruiser, and I put like new wheels on it and rock sliders.
Nice.
It's a lot of 4x4 type of accessories.
That's.
Yeah.
What's your last? What's your last binge watch?
My last what?
Binge
watch. Yeah, we did Young Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. But the problem is like I wasn't done with the Big Bang Theory, so we're now catching up on that one. And then of course all the Star Trek, a lot of geeky stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know, by the way, you like Star Trek, right?
I like it. I mean, I'm not like a Trekkie that goes, across the country to a convention, but I enjoy it.
Yet.
Well,
my father grew up in the same neighborhood as Leonard Nimoy.
oh wow.
And my father got his hair cut by Leonard Nimoy's father, who was a barber in that neighborhood.
Wow. That's cool.
It's not even my claim to fame. It's just a claim to fame.
There's a lot of Trekkies out there that be very jealous of that, Dave. Definitely.
Since COVID started, have you found any new passions? Anything new that you've decided now that we have all kinds of time on our hands?
Probably not, but the irony of it is, work got a lot busier.
Yeah.
Because there was, the demand for things was higher because of, the situation. So, everybody had to step up to it, and throughout the city. And so I just devoted most of my time to, working with that. And so I have to say, like, when I log off for the day, which I don't technically just log off, I'm always around, but when I officially, log off, I'm pretty tired. So, I think I just want to chill a little bit. So I just go through my, weekly routines that I did before to try to keep some normality with it, some sanity, so.
I agree.
Yeah, so I have to say I didn't really pick up any maybe new habits, but nothing fun. So.
Okay. Well, Smitty, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, but I want to give a shout out to everyone in IMP who has worked through the year, especially like your team and other teams in the department that have had to come to the building and work, day after day during this. Everyone is very appreciative of that, and big props. Definitely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Same to you.
Thanks.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
That's not the end of the show. Please stay tuned because coming up next, Jesse Burk from the Office of Municipal Investigations will talk about how technology has helped him and his department do their jobs. Here at City Channel Pittsburgh, we're a small staff, but we somehow managed to get the job done.
Tell them to stand by. Stand by. You ready over there? Ready. Coming to them in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're on the air. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
We are City Channel Pittsburgh, and we've got your government covered. With me today is Jesse Burk from the City of Pittsburgh's Office of Municipal Investigations. Jesse, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, first off, what is the Office of Municipal Investigations?
So we handle internal affairs investigations for the City of Pittsburgh, and that's a wide-ranging job duty performance-based department. So we'll handle everything from background investigations for all city employees. That includes police, fire, EMS. So we're always constantly busy with doing those. And along with those, we also handle any types of complaints that are given to us by the City of Pittsburgh public. So those complaints can involve any public safety employees like fire, police, and EMS. And we also handle cases that are bureau referred from the City of Pittsburgh police, fire, or EMS departments.
Does it also include City of Pittsburgh employees against each other?
It can. It gets into HR handles a lot of that with their department. We do handle some with, it can be anything from Parks Department, just for an example, to it can be wide ranging with other city departments too. So we're constantly busy with that as well. It just kind of depends on how we handle the complaints come in or the cases come in. Our supervisor over there is Laura Dunhoff. She'll either get the cases, or Aaron Bruni, the manager, will get the cases, and then they'll be assigned out to the investigators and detectives.
So what is your job title, and what do you do in the department?
My job title is investigator, so I handle any investigations that are assigned to me, and that includes the aforementioned background investigations or just general cases that we get.
How does one get a job in OMI? What is your background? I mean,
my background. So the majority of we're a highly educated department. The majority of staff in OMI on the investigator side have at least a minimum of a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. A lot of the employees there, I think we have at least 3 that had finished law school. So it's a highly educated, diverse office.
So what is your background? How did you start working for the city out of college?
No, I took a longer route around. So I went to Point Park downtown for criminal justice, graduated there with a criminal justice degree. I did investigations at the casino for about 3 or 4 years, and then I started bartending just for some extra money. It paid a little more than the casino. And from there, went to grad school and then was hired with the city since 2015. So it's almost coming up on 6 years here.
Wow. Well, congratulations for being here.
Oh, thank you.
We're very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
When you started at OMI, what kind of technology were you using? What kind of means were you going about doing your job that may not be relevant now?
We've just been recently upgraded to nice laptops, Dell newer laptops. So that's much more convenient for our sake because we can take those home. You can do work at home. It's a little more flexible with how you can get the work done as opposed to just having to come in, sit down at your desktop, and then go from there. So that's changed, and it's kind of changed our job duties and how we're able to operate a little significantly.
I imagine that the convenience of moving freely helps a lot. Like you said, working at home or working in your car, working on the road, wherever you have to be, so you aren't stabilized to a desktop. So you write down notes on your hands so you remember what it is you're investigating?
We do have old school, notebooks to kind of to write everything down on there as well. But it does make it easier to be able to jump from there right onto a laptop as opposed to having to get onto the desktop, fire up the desktop. It's a lot more efficient.
I can also imagine in years even before you were here, OMI, I don't want to say you were undercover, but you had to move around in a way that people don't know what you're doing. Is that a safe way? I don't even know what the safe way is to ask that question, but have things changed where you are able to move around a little more freely without people realizing what it is that you're doing?
For the most part, I mean, we do handle residency cases where there's allegations against city employees that are allegations that they're not living within the city limits. So we do handle those, and that's kind of something where you don't want to be very noticeable when you're doing that. But otherwise, if you're doing background investigations, we call it canvassing for the most part with investigations, cases, or backgrounds where you canvass a neighborhood looking for witnesses. With backgrounds, you're canvassing neighborhoods, talking to neighbors, finding out about the character of the potential employee for the city of Pittsburgh. So that in terms of those, we always have ourselves a visible identification badge, that kind of thing, to verify that we are who we say we are, especially considering not many people actually go to someone's door. There's not many door-to-door salesmen anymore, so people can be somewhat alarmed when you show up at a door anymore because they don't know who you are, since that doesn't occur as frequently as in the past.
So, do you carry a badge?
Yeah, we have OMI, and the investigators have OMI badges. How the office works is it's pretty much split evenly between detectives that are at our office. They're City of Pittsburgh police detectives. And it's pretty evenly matched in terms of the amount of detectives that are in our office, and then the same amount of investigators. It's pretty evenly matched.
So you talked about how when you started, you got laptops, and that was pretty helpful to move around. Since you started, so this 6-year period, what are some other technological upgrades that the department has gone through to help you do your jobs?
Definitely the body camera. That's a game changer in terms of how you can go through a thorough investigation, but you can have the information a lot quicker, and it's more verifiable because you can pull up the body camera information as soon as you get the case, for the most part. So there would be cases wherein you wouldn't have much to go off of besides an officer's word or a complainant's word, and we don't weight those any differently unless there's some outside circumstances, credibility assessments. We do different various things to kind of to show what had occurred in the case. But with a body camera, it's a lot more fluent to be able to pull it up and just view it offhand and be able to ascertain what happened.
And I can imagine body camera footage has been big in the news in the last couple of years. I can imagine that there's a lot of pressure on the department or the office to make sure that you get it in a timely fashion so you can get through to your decision at some point.
Yeah, it's. I mean, by the time we usually get a case, the body camera video will already be uploaded. So it's just simply a matter of we have a sergeant in our office, so we have him pull up the body camera for us, and then we can upload it to our own database that we use, which is also another technological advancement we have. We have an IA Pro database. It's just strictly for internal affairs purposes, and we can put the body camera footage in there immediately, have that saved to be able to review it, analyze it, and then use it whenever we conduct our interview with an accused officer.
Do you keep that footage or that information indefinitely?
It's a little newer. So it used to be we had hard copies of the discs. We can still burn the hard copies of the discs, but for right now, we have in the OMI database, the IA Pro database, that is saved into the database. So after the case is closed, whatever the disposition is, we can always open that back up and review the body camera footage.
That is a huge technological advancement from going. I'm assuming when you said a disc, I'm assuming a DVD.
Yes, DVD video disc.
Yeah. So to be lugging around DVDs in your bag to having it uploaded onto a system, that's going to be a huge save.
Yeah, it's in terms of time and effectiveness and just storage space, that it's all digital now. It takes up a lot less clutter, and it's a lot more accessible.
I can remember years ago when I started moving all my VHS tapes over to DVD, and I said to my computer engineer best friend, how long will these DVDs last? Thinking he might say 50 years. I don't know why I thought that. And he said 10 years. And I thought, wow, that's a fairly short period of time. So I can imagine moving that information or moving the technology from disk to computer is huge. It's
definitely much more efficient and much nicer.
Nice. So a little over a year now, 14-ish months ago, the city of Pittsburgh told its employees you might want to start working from home. How has that affected you personally and OMI?
We're still able to get everything done efficiently within our office. It's just a little bit of having to get used to the remote working with the laptop, setting out kind of yourself up in your own different version of what you would have here in the city, like your own home office. It's a little. I have a crazy dog, so it's a little more distracting sometimes. So I have to play with him until he tires out, and then I'll be able to, get back up to typing my cases up. So it's just a little. I think as everybody's been dealing with the pandemic, it's just learning a new learning curve.
Would you like a 10-year-old?
Not just yet. No,
Okay.
the crazy dog's enough for me right now.
I've been lucky. I've not only was I working at home at the beginning, but I've been coming into the building every day. So I don't have to deal with that during the day. That's kind of nice. But I would love to take my dog into work. I enjoy my dog.
Yeah, I think the city used to have that where you took your dog to work. Hopefully once the pandemic ceases, they'll be doing that again.
So now that the pandemic, again, we're into 15 months of this. Has OMI set up some new workflows or arrangements so that you can continue working at home or have the ability to choose?
I like coming in. Everyone still comes into the office because for background packets, there's a lot of information that we keep in the office. So we'll have to come in to sign the packets, to review them. So you still have to come in the office a few days of the week, but other than that, it's just as long as you're getting your work done and your cases done. We're working from home until the city says otherwise, pretty much.
Okay. So if, in a perfect world, utopian perfect world, what do you think OMI needs moving forward in general? What do you think OMI needs?
I think it's with any job really. It's sometimes you're dealing with Microsoft products and there can be glitches. You can have a printer not connect. It's just pretty much your basic office technology headaches that you have. Printers not working. You don't want to go office space on the printer because it's not working. So there's just different minor quibbles you have with what can occur with office technology. But I think it's like the laptops and other technological avenues we have. They've become more streamlined. So it's constantly getting better.
Okay. So if somebody from the public needs the help of OMI, how do they get that? Is there a website or email or phone number? How would they contact OMI for help?
There's a phone number. It's available through if you see an officer and you need to refer something to OMI. Any of the zones will have the information. We're online through, if you just Google Pittsburgh OMI, it'll bring up a phone number. The city's website has a link to our department. We possibly might be getting a social media site up or just an account to refer things to at some point in time here. All
right. Jesse, is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to share about your experiences, your time, anything?
No, it's just, constantly keeping engaged with new technology, especially with social media investigations for backgrounds on public safety candidates. There's always new different social media platforms coming up you have to keep aware of to try to research to find out, what somebody's posting on there and what if that would make them a good candidate or a bad candidate. And it's constantly a learning curve on that and in terms of technology and trying to the research and investigate social media accounts. So it's just, always learning, always trying to develop and be, a better investigator than you were the day before.
Awesome. Jesse, thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Really appreciate your work with OMI. And for everybody at home, we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time right here on Meet the People.
Thank you.